The horror genre can be formulaic at times, even predictable. But every once in a while, a movie is released that shakes up the whole genre and creates rules of its own. One such movie is Sam Raimi's The Evil Dead. A movie so brilliant, horrific, and full of gore that Stephen King called it the most ferociously original horror flick of the year. If you're a fan of this cult movie, you have to read the 2008 Evil Dead mini-comic series, the first and only authorized comic adaptation of the original film. And it's not just one of those comics that have hand-picked scenes drawn into panels and the same old dialogue slapped onto them. It gives us more peeks into the characters' backgrounds and additional scenes that just gives the story more depth. It perfectly balances the comedy of Ash's one-liners with genuine horror and emotional drama. Arguably, the comic's greatest unique quality is artist John Bolton's photorealistic painted art style, where panels look like they are painted over frames of the original film. The use of lush colors and layered compositions makes the grotesque deadites feel actually terrifying. And if all that doesn't convince you to give this comic a go, let me add, Bruce Campbell personally approved his likeness for use in the comic books. So Ash looks like the Ash we know and love. The creators of the comic, writer Mark Verheiden and artist John Bolton, are actual fans of the film, so you know they are not gonna compromise on the quality of the narrative. This miniseries is so popular that Dark Horse released a deluxe hardcover 40th anniversary edition with a new afterword from Verheiden. Now let's dive into this definitive piece of the Evil Dead history. Love Shack, baby! Ash cannot believe it's been so long as he begins the story of the trip that changed his life. We see a crashed car with a skeleton in its driving seat. It all started with Scotty promising Ash a remote location with beautiful scenery. Like most college students, Ash saw it as a perfect place to get laid, and maybe it was. But only if you happen to date a girl who was deaf, dumb, and blind, and you could get over the fact that she would transform into a shrieking harpy from hell. But let's get back a few hours. Scotty was the kind of guy you meet in grade school that sticks to you like a tick, and Ash only hung out with him because he thought there was an unwritten rule that you need to hang out with the geeks past their expiration date. But it was not like Ash did not benefit from it, as Scotty was the guy who introduced him to his current girlfriend, Linda. Linda had lips that promised him the world and tossed him the moon as a tip. Scotty and Ash drove over to Linda's, and the way she looked then is how Ash wanted to remember her. Soft and beautiful. Cheryl and Shelley, Linda's friends, joined them. They drove quite far into the woods, and Scotty revealed that they got the cabin cheap since a lot of people were scared of the legend that some old guy went nuts in the woods a while back. We see glimpses of this guy, a bald professor we know as Raymond Noby, bent over a deadite and shoving his thumbs into her eyes while screaming at her to stop looking at him. Scotty told them that many believed it to be a bad case of cabin fever, but in truth, nobody really knew what happened. Ash laughed it off at their naivety, that they would believe the story. Just you wait, Ash. Just you wait. Suddenly, Scotty lost control of the steering wheel and almost hit a truck. Ash did not believe it as he had tuned the vehicle up just yesterday. After riding past a rickety bridge, the group of 5 finally made it across to the cabin. Crazy as it sounds now, Ash could not wait to get into the cabin. We also know now that the cabin could not wait to get to them and was aching to devour their souls. They got in, oblivious to the evil spirits around them, and started to make a toast when a demonic voice whispered, "Free us, join us," from the basement door. The door closed as quickly as it opened, and Cheryl, assuming it was the doing of some animal, told her friends to let it be. Scotty thought that was hilarious and picked up a lantern to go investigate. After 3 minutes of waiting for Scotty, Ash went down to get him, already getting tired of his pranks. Scotty sprang up in the dark and excitedly asked him to follow him, as he had something to show Ash. Scotty showed him the shotgun, tape recorder, and a dagger with a skull as its hilt that he found inside. They brought it all up with them, and Ash did the fateful act of turning on the tape recorder. The tape recorder belonged to a professor who had been excavating the ruins of Kandar with a group of his colleagues. He had finished dictating the translations that afternoon, and at the time of the recording, he and his wife had retreated into the cabin to continue his research work on Natron de Manto, aka Book of the Dead, a volume of ancient Sumerian burial practices and funeral incantations that gave demons the permission to possess the living. To make things spookier, the book was made of human flesh and human blood was used as ink. Quite shortly after, his wife Beth Marie had attacked him with a knife and promised to take his soul to hell. Ash obviously did not know all this bloody history, and when he turned on the tape recorder, it began playing the incantations recorded by the professor. It spooked Cheryl out and she screamed at her friends to shut it off. Almost as evidence of her fear, the branches of a tree broke through the windows of the cabin and fell in. Scared out of her mind, Cheryl ran away and Linda went to check on her. Later, Linda returned to Ash and he gave her a necklace he bought at S-Mart. Soon, the two began doing what college kids do when left alone, which, according to Ash, riled up the evil demons outside. The evil outside lured Cheryl out and the vines and tendrils in the woods began to wrap around her so tightly that they cut her skin. She screamed and screamed, but to no avail. Bloody and violated, Cheryl managed to enter the cabin and begged Ash to leave. Seeing her state, Ash agreed to drive her back as he thought she had gone crazy. Unfortunately, the bridge had broken and a scared Cheryl told Ash that whatever was in the woods did not want them to leave. Ash drove back to the cabin and everyone tried to pretend that nothing was wrong. Ash decided to listen to the professor's words, hoping to learn more about the cabin. The professor revealed that the only way to stop the possessed was to dismember them, but it was too late for him. Meanwhile, Linda and Shelley began playing a guessing game with cards. Cheryl, who was facing the window while the two played, began guessing the cards correctly, and when she turned towards them, they saw that her eyes had gone completely white and her skin had changed color. She demanded to know why she had been awakened from her ancient slumber and began to levitate. And things go wrong. The only thing that Ash could think of at the moment was how he was not going to get laid under the circumstances. Cheryl dropped down, picked up a pencil and shoved it into Linda's ankle. Ash grabbed her arm to stop her from doling out more damage, but Cheryl turned her attention towards him, trying to shove the pencil through his jaw. Scotty hit her with the handle of an axe and shoved her down into the basement while she giggled manically. She was still trying to grab Scotty when he shut the door and chained it up. Linda cried in agony while Cheryl looked at her and giggled from the small opening of the basement door. After the adrenaline subsided, Linda passed out and Ash regretted not comforting her and telling her that he loved her. In the basement, Cheryl was joined by other deadites, evil monsters who munched on her flesh and asked her how the others tasted. Cheryl told them that they tasted like chicken as the others lifted her so that she could see through the opening. Shelley had noticed movement outside the cabin and told Scotty that someone might be outside, but Scotty didn't believe it and asked her to go get some sleep. As she went to her room, the glass of the windows cracked open loudly. Scotty and Ash heard the noise and went to check on her. To their shock, Shelley jumped on Scotty and began gnawing at his neck. Scotty pushed her off and into the fireplace, causing her hair to catch on fire. Scotty, not aware that his girlfriend is gone forever, pulled her out of the fireplace only for her to attack him again. Shelley grabbed a dagger with the skull hilt and held it over Scotty to stab him. At that moment, Ash could only remember an incident from a few months ago when he was on a double date with Linda, Scotty and Shelley. Shelley had come across a bird with a broken wing. To put it out of its mystery, she had gleefully stomped it to death. Ash could see the same glee on her face now. Scotty was not so immobile as Ash as he reached for a knife to cut off Shelley's hand. Instead of crying out in pain, Shelley licked her blood. Scotty used the dagger in her cut hand and stabbed her. Ash was shocked Scotty could so easily kill the woman he once made love to, but he also realized that it was not the same woman, as Shelley would have never tried to taste her own arm. When Scotty went to check up on her, she grabbed his leg. Though Ash had picked up an axe lying nearby, he was frozen in place once again. Scotty snatched it from his arms and hacked Shelley to pieces. Linda, my love. Scotty and Ash buried Shelley in the woods and Scotty put up a makeshift cross on her grave. They had expected to roll around on the sheets, but they ended up burying one of them in the sheet. Scotty immediately planned an escape route through the woods. When Ash reminded him that Linda was in no state to walk, Scotty asked Ash to stick around as he was her boyfriend and walked out. Ash knew Scotty would only prioritize himself, but in hindsight, he thinks that he probably stayed playing Linda's bodyguard because it was easier for him than facing the evil in the woods. When Ash went to check up on Linda, she sprang up, her face clear that she was now a Kandarian demon, and began giggling. Meanwhile, Scotty waded through the woods till he saw what looked like a silhouette of a man. He grabbed the man's arm, requesting him to walk him down to the main road, but when the man turned, his eyes revealed wonky and his face torn and bleeding. Scotty screamed. The man, or rather demon, told him that he was Scotty from 5 minutes into the future and broke his arm. Despite the brutal attack from the creature, Scotty ran back into the cabin, begging for help from Ash. Ash helped him lie down, promising him that he will be okay, all while Linda laughed at him like a maniac. Ash lost it at the cackling and slapped Linda. Scotty, though at the brink of death, asked Ash to kill her, knowing Linda was far gone. Ash remembered Scotty throwing a rifle into the trunk and went to fetch it. As he aimed at Linda, her face turned to normal again, and she asked Ash to help her. Ash hugged her, glad that his girlfriend was back. He heard Cheryl's voice too, normal Cheryl, not the Kandarian version of her, asking him to let her out. It's better to be safe than sorry. So Ash peeked into the basement to see whether Cheryl was really back to normal. His worst fears were true, as she was only tricking him, and grabbed his jaw. He wrenched himself out of her grip and darted back where Linda, who had changed back, told him that they were gonna get him. Ash threw her out into the woods like she was trash and rushed to get Scotty so that they can both get the hell out of here. Unfortunately, his wounds had been too severe and he had bled to death. The Hellspawn, however, was only getting started. Linda had returned inside and grabbed the Kandarian dagger with which she attacked Ash. Ash twisted her arm behind her and while wrestling her, made her fall down on the sharp end of the dagger. He bound her up with the chains he found lying around while constantly being reminded of her soft, loving moments they spent together. He found a chainsaw and as he was about to use it, he remembered the first time they made love and how she asked him to be gentle. He remembered all the times he kissed her, and as the chainsaw roared to life, he realized he actually loved her. He was unable to dismember the woman he loved, so he dug a grave for her in the woods and buried her. The pendant of the chain he had gifted moments ago stuck out and he decided to take it when suddenly Linda's arm grabbed him. He fell down in shock and picked up a railroad tie he found. Though he whacked her with it, Linda remained unperturbed. At that moment, he realized Linda was long gone. He got the shovel he just used and hit her with it so hard that she was beheaded. Thank God it's morning. Ash had a hard time believing he had lost Linda. Just a few hours ago, he had spent blissful moments with her, and as he remembered the 5'4" mountain of love she was, her headless body tried to choke him. He kicked it off, grateful that it was finally over, but inside, a new horror awaited him. The basement door had been shattered open. He armed himself with a rifle, but Cheryl jumped to hold the barrel. Having lost his empath, Ash shot her. Unfortunately, the gun was out of ammo. Leaving Cheryl growling above, Ash went down to the basement. Blood suddenly flowed out of the pipes. An old record player was cranked up and the projector started running. Linda's voice boomed from beyond the grave, promising him that they were gonna get him. Everything stopped immediately. As he came above, a mirror came alive and pulled him inside like a clear pit of quicksand. But Ash pushed himself away from the danger. Ash realized that the evil there was trying to scare the hell out of him, and to be truthful, the evil was quite successful. He pulled out the necklace he had given Linda, wondering what made him take it back. He didn't have time to explore the answer as Cheryl's hands grabbed him from behind. Ash shot her, but he was not in any way safe as Scotty had returned as a demon and was trying to choke him. Ash shoved his thumbs into his arms and Scotty backed off, but Cheryl was back again. As luck would have it, his eyes fell on the Book of the Dead and he put two and two together, landing on a result that would save him from the never-ending cycle of Kandarian demons. Cheryl clawed at him and he fell away from the book, but Ash had a secret weapon with him, the necklace. He used it like a lasso to pull the book near him and toss it into the fire. As the flames ate up the book, the flesh of the Kandarian demons melted, and they died screaming. It was finally over. Everything was normal again. The sun was out, the birds were chirping. Ash walked out when suddenly something attacked him. He started screaming and woke up in his car outside the cabin. Linda was standing outside asking him to hurry, as they were at the cabin. Ash wondered if it was just a dream and he had made up Cheryl, Shelley and Scotty, but either way, he didn't care as he had a feeling the best was yet to come. I never thought I would enjoy an Evil Dead story with a Final Destination twist. What can I say about the story? It was already a banger and all the additions only made it a blast to read, especially that psychotic memory of Shelley stomping on a bird. Girl was gone long before the cabin. Linda and Ash's relationship got a more emotional depth too. Every one of his actions and decisions was motivated by the history he shared with Linda. Now let's talk about the art, cause that was a show stealer. The fluid drawing style gave the comic a dreamlike quality, very apt as you can tell from the ending. It was like looking through water, and a sense of distrust was established straight from the beginning thanks to the art. A whole powerful package throughout. What did you think about The Evil Dead? Loved it, or would you rather stick to the movie? Let me know in the comments below, and if you liked this video, you better smack that thumbs up, the subscribe button, and the bell icon. Thank you for sticking with me, and I will soon be back with more awesome stuff, but until then, goodbye.